Hello, viewers. I'm SB, and welcome back to I Was a Teenage Exocolonist, where we're back from our little break here, and we are ready to start our second life. Now, I don't want to overly strategize this. I haven't worked out what skill perks that we want to get in what order or anything. But what I have been thinking about is just what we're going to need, like sort of the bare minimums we're going to need to avoid the major catastrophes. We want to deal with the shimmer thing. We want to deal with the famine. I would like to prevent Dis from doing whatever it is Dis was going to do with that bomb, which we still don't actually know. The genocide, let's try to stop the genocide. And I'm not really sure exactly what we're going to need because I don't know how much value we're going to get out of the past life memory, quote unquote, system here. Are we just going to be able to head off these events entirely because we did so on one playthrough and this character will remember that character's successes? Or it's hard to say. It definitely feels to me like we want to make sure that we're making friends with Dis early because we want him to teach us how to sneak out of the colony again, right? Sneaking out of the colony is a great way to get doing expeditions in general is a great way to get a ton of objects so that we can start raising reputation with everybody or raising our relationships with everybody. And then on top of that, there are some challenges that are legitimately difficult to complete. And it's nice to have a bunch of mushwood logs or whatever. We're probably also going to need at least some biology knowledge. I think that working biology was important for both the shimmer thing. Actually, it was important for the shimmer thing and the famine thing, but also instances engineered plague. So yeah, some amount of still making sure we have some biology knowledge. And then for this playthrough, we're going to focus on yellow skills more. We're going to empathy and persuasion in particular. We're going to be best friends with Mars, and we're just going to look for some opportunity. It really feels like it's there. It feels like there's a way to get Lum out of power, and we're going to dig in hard and try to find it. I think the design of these systems is so cool. I'm really enjoying this game. All right, so we're going to start up a new life. Oh, I have the settings menu open because there's this skip scene text function. I've turned it on. It's going to fast forward us through events that we've seen already. I don't know exactly how it works. We may end up turning it off and flipping forward manually if it's disruptive. But this beginning part should go pretty quickly because it's going to be more or less identical to what we did when we took that little abortive step into a new life right after the Transcendence ending. Wake up again. Oh, I know about the mature subjects. So, it is worth noting that this does not seem to be any different. It's not fast forwarding us through here. Yep, try to climb out, but you can't climb out because your leg's no good. Nem tries to rescue you, but she can't rescue you because dog. Friendly dog, sweetie dog. Dog looking slightly less like the kind of thing you might see on Dr. Katz. Unless it was a really fucking rockin' episode of Dr. Katz. Okay. Let's do it. Let's go again. I was a teenage exocolonist and it didn't really work out the first time. So now I am one again. We're gonna figure this out, right? Alright, we're born on the stratospheric. Definitely something else. They really want you to have a name that has Sol in it, so they can call you Sol for short. And I think we're gonna meet them halfway on that this time. There we go, Solon. We're still gonna, yeah. Okay, so your favorite present is biology +1 straights, animals +1 flushes. I feel like in the early game, it's way easier to have plus flush. But Actually, it's pretty easy to have pairs and of a kinds. All of your cards are like the same two values. So the doll is a strong push, I think. Reasoning and all flushes, toughness and all pairs. I think I like the doll. We'll get a little bit of persuasion right away. You carry that doll with you everywhere and feed it with a tiny spoon you found in the galley. That's adorable. Antecedent helps takes care of all the colonist kids. Her daughter Anemone is the same age as you, but she doesn't like dolls. True story. From as early as you can remember, you've had vivid dreams every night. See, this is all very familiar text. Your dad tells you a bedtime story. So, I mean, we're saying dream people, right? We're going to have a lot of yellow cards to work with this playthrough in theory, and also this card has a 4 on it. My favorite is stories from my dreams. You've always been weird that way. You beg him to tell you stories about aliens called the Gardeners and insist they're real people you've met, or will meet, or something. They're from your dreams, but it seems so real. It's more like remembering. It's hard to explain. Your family doesn't understand, but your dad's happy to play make-believe. Together, you make up new adventures for the Gardeners every night. This dad is the best. Okay, so I do feel like the extra fingers are pretty good. The calm temperament probably adds up, and you can level this up, right? You could probably end up saving yourself an awful lot of stress over the course of the game, but you already don't have to rest all that often. Like, the way that the stress system interacts with, like, Vertimnalia and your birthday and stuff, it feels like you don't really need de-stressors all that badly. I guess this game we're much less likely to have pets, so, well, I mean, we're still going to go adventuring. And actually, you know what? Even though it's not really, I think, sort of like in the same line as sticking to the yellow skills, I would like to get out to the swamps, if just to see the area that we didn't see before. And that would require us to join the expeditionary force as a hunter, right? I don't know. We'll figure it out. But I'm going to take extra fingers for right now. Now, you've heard that long ago, having a 6th finger would have been something you'd hide or even remove. But Antecedent says some of the best musicians on Earth have the gene for extra fingers, just like you. Okay, we are definitely friends with Mars. Oh, we could be friends with Tammy. No, I think I want to stick with Mars. I like the fact that the card you get from this is giving your kudos to her immediately. She knows how to work the system. Alright, Mars has always acted like she's the boss, even to the adults. She talks back to Antecedent and ends up in trouble a lot. This sounds a lot like me as a kid. One day when you're 8, you're all going to the gym to bounce on the bouncy mats, but Mars can't because she's in timeout again. So, persuasion, we picked up some organizing. Okay. And we plead on her behalf, right? This is the kid we're playing. We're playing like the little lawyer. You convince Antecedent to let Mars come and play this time. Antecedent allows it, but also warns about how some people will take advantage of you. I'm sure I don't know what you mean. All right, 10 years old when the ship finally reaches the wormhole. Professor Hal says it's like a doorway to other star systems. You run emergency drills for months to prepare. When the day finally comes, it starts with a rumble. Then things start to slide off the tables. You hurry to gather near the escape pods just in case. All right, so we know we can't recalibrate the shield successfully. Yet one of your earliest memories, even though it hasn't happened yet, as the ship passes through the wormhole, the shields fail, and the hydroponic farms get screwed up, and that causes the whole famine in the first place. So we weren't able to do this, right? You give Professor Hal the slip, a move you've practiced for this day, and rush to the engine wing past confused adults who try to stop you. You find the nearest Congruence terminal and beg for help. Congruence brushes you off. Almost all of her considerable processing power is going toward making sure the wormhole doesn't destroy the ship. And you don't know how to make her do what you want. You yell and beg her to help you, but it's no use. The ship enters the wormhole while you're still trying to talk to her. You black out, just like you always do. Okay, so this is all going to be familiar here. Gradually, your consciousness reforms. 2 weeks have elapsed. The patient's cranial injuries completed healing. And here we are, once again, on Vertumna. Something's definitely different. Probably all that sunlight. Instead of the familiar blackness of space, bright light from twin blue and yellow suns is streaming through the windows. You peer out and see fields, glass-walled domes, and walls ringed by giant mushroom-like trees. There are construction materials everywhere, and people walking around outside on the ground. Did I turn off the skip old text thing, or is it just not? No, it's on. It just doesn't. Okay, just doesn't do anything here. Cautiously step outside to see your new life. This character is maybe a little more cautious than the previous character, owing mostly to the very weird experience of having extremely specific memory dreams. All right, Tammy wants us to go see our dad. We do, in fact, know how to walk around and how to interact with characters. Tammy is scared to go any further from the ship. So we are going to blaze through an awful lot of text on this playthrough. We'll still read stuff, but not everything, certainly. Oh, okay, that's neat. It's neat that there's a marker for the branches you've done already, in cases where that might matter. Solon, your dad gives you a great big warm hug. I'm so happy you're finally awake. Dr. Instance thought it'd be best to keep you asleep while your noggin healed. Your mother and I thought you might sleep away the whole year, my snoozy little gooseberry, just to sort of reestablish the character of Dad a little bit. This character is less embarrassed by her parents. Aw, Dad. Okay, yep. The colony's been put together. We've never said it's beautiful before, so I'm going to say it's beautiful. I'm glad you agree, he says. Your mother and I, we've been waiting a long time to see grass and trees again, even if they are purple. Happy birthday, he shouts, wrapping you in a warm hug. Your birthday already? You feel a dizzying sense of deja vu. Yeah, we know what's in the package. Even though this is the thing we've done before, I am going to tell him that I know what's in it because I want to set everybody up. I want to sort of establish that the kid knows things that the kid can't know, because I'm hoping it's going to come in handy later. Okay, that time it did. Yeah, it flipped past the text boxes we've seen before, but we can always scroll back up and see things if we need to. Dad says, I love you. We say love you back. Yep, 13 months a year, 10 years to the end of the game. You'll only have time to focus on a few things. Not exactly true. It is true that you don't have time to do absolutely everything. Let's go say howdy to Dis. I think there are monsters out there. I believe you, man. No, you don't, he says. You're being sarcastic. I can tell. Nobody believes me. I feel like when we did this before, it upset him, didn't it? I wish that you could click on the check mark and see what the result was. I feel like our first interactions with Dis went pretty poorly, if I remember correctly. We really had to work at being friends with him. I'm gonna try to avoid. Dis is so sensitive about being teased. Although, to be fair, that's probably because everybody's constantly teasing him. Okay, she's already playing with the sports ball. Hey, what are you making? Just snow spirals, she says. But earlier, me and Cal made a big snow pal. You missed it while you were sleeping in medbay. She smiles, her broad, gap-toothed smile at you. Now that you're awake, we can play. Yeah, but actually, see you later. I hear what you're saying, but what if instead of that, nope? Okay, so I'm trying to think. If we're trying to avoid catastrophes, Do I feel like it was possible to save kombucha? We were there when he died. We went out and tried to help with the monsters. Maybe if we had higher combat skill at that point, maybe that's something to pursue with this character, and that'll help us with the what do you call it? Being a hunter anyway. It's a very different approach on animals. Okay, don't forget to study hard. What are these the only options that we have this month? I know that the things are pretty locked down at first, right? Yep. Okay. And if we are in fact going to still be going outside, especially early on, it feels like it's going to be very easy to accumulate all of the perception and bravery that we had last time. So I'm not too stressed about that. So creativity and persuasion versus biology and reasoning. I know I was just saying I feel like we need to get a lot of biology still, but I do want to focus on these yellow stats as much as possible. And who knows what other stuff will be opened up by having access to these early, right? All right, today we're just writing the essay on what the Vertumna colony means to you. What was it that happened to Hal? Hal died early on, but I don't remember how. I wonder if that's avoidable. Well, we'll try to stay close to him. Okay, what the Vertumna colony means to you. This character is even more relationship focused than the last one, so maybe it's the same, but maybe this character has some attention issues. Yeah, maybe, actually. Just doodle instead of writing. I have a hard time staying focused on the assignments. This is very familiar to me. Got some creativity. True to his word, Hal leans back in his chair and begins to snore. You doubt he'll even bother reading this assignment, so you just practice drawing made-up animals on your hollow palm instead. When Hal wakes from his nap, he asks a few students to read their essays to the class. You're docked a few kudos when he discovers you didn't bother to do the assignment, but he does think your animals are pretty cool. Also, we're not actually docked any kudos because we didn't have any. Alright, we know how the game works, thank you. So we have a bonus to pairs. We definitely want to be making sets here. Is this the best way to go? Is this better than extending the flush? This gets us an 11. No, we gain 2 points on the flush, but we lose the 3 points from the straight entirely. Okay, yeah, good enough. Hooray, we have money for the first time. Yep, working increases stress. Stress bad. Okay, so your parents have been working. How have you been holding up, kiddo? Well, I can say this has all happened before, and that gives us a -1, but it is a -1 that's wild color, and it'll probably end up being value positive every time we play it, right? I'm going to say it just because it's like, I'm trying to stick to like the kid has weird visions, but I don't know if I think this card's actually good. I think maybe we shouldn't. Maybe we want to get rid of that. You tell them how you knew about the medallion your dad made before you saw it, because you dreamed about it when you were a kid. The more you speak, the harder it is to stop. You tell them about all the things you thought were just dreams, and how they've started to come true ever since you landed on Vertumna. You keep remembering stuff that's about to happen, and it's also weird and confusing. Honey, your mom interrupts you. I know you've been under a lot of stress. We all have. She sighs and gives your dad a concerned look. He shrugs helplessly. I'm so sorry we haven't been there for you, she continues. But is it possible you think you might be making this up to get attention? No, I swear to you, this is real. Listen, I can't explain it any better than you can. You try to stay calm and explain, but you keep talking faster and faster. Before long, your breath is coming in hiccups, and you start to cry uncontrollably. That's a lot for a kid to deal with, honestly. Your parents don't know what to say. All they can do is hold you tight and stroke your head. Of course, they don't believe you, and you can't think of a way to prove it to them. When you've calmed down a bit, you hear them talking quietly to each other over your head. Well, she did have a bad concussion. Maybe there was permanent damage. What if our baby... They look so anxious and pained now. You feel even worse than before. They insist you go back to Dr. Instance for a checkup and take you there immediately. You end up spending another month in medbay. Dr. Instance insists on giving you sleeping medicine that makes you drowsy, but at least you aren't just asleep the entire time like before. She takes a lot of health readings. You take notes too, and learn a bit about medicine because there is nothing else to do. It's boring and stressful at the same time. Your parents come to visit you in the evening, but nobody wants to talk about the dreams or memories or whatever they are, or were. You've been sleeping deeply with this medicine, so at least you haven't had that remembering feeling in a while. When you try to bring the subject up, Dr. Instance always says you should get some rest and tells the medbed to give you more sleeping drugs. This seems bad. Am I like basically being committed, kind of? The days pass. Huh. You feel trapped and helpless. Days blur into one another in a haze of sleep. In your lucid moments, you look longingly through the windows at the colony, bustling with the first excitement of life on a new planet. You realize that no one will believe you if you keep talking about living past lives. Or worse, you'll end up here again, wasting all your time sleeping. There is definitely... So when I was a kid, when I was younger, I had psychological difficulties. Still have, of course. It's not the sort of thing that just goes away. But I was definitely very reluctant to talk to adults about it because I was already, even as a very young kid, I was already kind of aware of this sort of thing. I was friends with some kids who were medicated in ways that were unpleasant, and I avoided seeking help and avoided therapy for a very long time because I was afraid of basically this exact thing, basically being like medicated into a fog. If you really are living this life over and over again, time is something you can't waste. You need to figure out what's happening. After a month of enforced rest, Dr. Instance says she can see nothing wrong with you and you must simply be feeling the effects of stress. You just need to take it easy, my little tomato, your dad tells you. Landing on Vertumna has been a big change for all of us. It's natural to feel anxious and act out. Your mom looks disappointed but tells you she loves you. And if you are a young trans person, here's going to be a very familiar experience for you. Lying to your doctor to get them to do the thing that's actually best for you, because if you tell them the truth, they won't. I'm feeling much better now, and this is how I learned that I need to lie to adults. Okay, and then we get the basic chat from them. The colony's an experiment. We can do things different. You don't have to go to school, etc. You decide to stay quiet about your strange dreams. And the thing is, I really feel like, especially if you just had that experience, there should be an option on here that's like, you need to avoid being medicalized, right? Like you cannot trust the adults in your life to act in your best interest or to believe the things that you're saying to them. I guess I'm going to hit, you don't want people to worry. That's kind of close to I don't want people to do the things that they will do if they are worried. And we just lose a month and get very stressed about it, which makes sense. Here's Tangent. Professor Hal wants us to prep a list of native flora with pictures. There should be a catalog, but I can't find it anywhere. I'll help you find it. We want to be friendly, right? It is true. We are hollow nerds. Nem totally got us there. I've always been a Hollow nerd. Um, we don't have the toughness to do a trick, so I guess this character is going to be a lot less like. If we're going high on combat skill, there's still going to be some physicality there, but I think this character is definitely a lot less of a sports person. So sort of panic. Oh God, look out! A ball is flying toward you. Anemone doubles over laughing. Nice save, Solwyn. She giggles, jogging over to pick up the ball. Haha, not. I can't believe this survived from Earth. Want me to show you how to do it? I mean... Yeah, fine. Okay, so that gives us sports ball. It gives us a point of toughness. Like, Solwyn goes along to get along, right? That's part of this character's deal. Uncle Tonin blocks your way with a smile. I'm afraid expeditions is off limits for now. Gosh, you die pretty early, don't you? I don't remember exactly what happens. I think he goes off on an expedition and never comes back or something. I don't know if that's a thing we can influence. All right, we'll just not push on it for now. Hey, Cal. We got to meet Cal here. Sorry, we know Cal already. Of course, we've been on the spaceship together. Real ground is harder to hover on than ship floors. There are bumps everywhere. And we commiserate, because that's like the social option, right? Yeah, man, that sucks. Oh, no way. I didn't mean it like that, Cal exclaims. It's actually really cool. Hovering outside is rad. Look at this. Okay, you made a skate pole. It's a what now? Like, it's all round and the sides go up? Cal gestures to the bowl. So you can do hover tricks. He jumps on his board and shows you how it's done. And that doesn't really look to us like a thing that we would want to do. We'll just hang out and watch. You spend a lazy hour watching Cal ride around the bowl, trying to do tricks and sometimes even landing them. Mostly he falls off, but he's right back on a moment later. The air is so fresh and nice out here, and it's weird experiencing temperature. You start to get a little chilly as the first sun goes down and the slightly cooler, more blue sun rises. Cal, of course, doesn't notice at all. Alright, what do our parents want? What have we been up to today? You know, just hanging with my friends. Yep, talking about the weather and stuff. Wait till dust season, it'll be real hot. Yep, and also there will be lots of other problems that I know about, but I'm not going to tell you I know about them. Do I need more information? I sure don't. I'm good, thanks, Mom. Hey, look, it's Mars. Spark snow would ruin your good clothes. Okay, she wants us to fetch the soy sweets. Right. Okay, I will do that because we are friends. Because if we're honest, I'm probably basically her lackey, right? Like the way I'm kind of constructing this character in my head, I think we are sort of a second banana by nature. Okay, so Tammy, all right, she gives us the stuff made fresh this morning. Please tell Mars she can have the scarf back. Okay. Hold on. I'll come back to you in a second. You have more stuff to say, but I want to return these sweets. Here it is. So I kind of want Do we play a little tough with Mars? Maybe we're less lackey than I thought, since we have the option to be here. Maybe we are. Yeah, maybe we see ourselves more like on the level with Mars. There's a little bit more like friendly competition going on in the relationship. All right, but I just ran and got them, so if you want them, you got to pay up. Mars scowls at you. This is extortion, she complains. Didn't you learn anything from Earth history class? It's because of greedy people like you that we had to leave Earth. You're pretty sure that wasn't what you learned about labor activism. Fine, Mars grumbles, but only because I can afford it. Oh, that's right. Mars really especially does not like it when people like yes man her, right? She would want somebody who pushes back. If we're actually going to be a good friend to Mars and be someone that she likes, we have to be somebody who pushes back. So, yeah, okay. It's not right to bully me just because I have so many kudos. You hand over the soy sweets and Mars transfers the kudos with a wry smile. She seems to respect that you asked for payment. Yusik is looking for people to do delivery jobs, she says, gesturing to the depot behind her. Considering all you care about is kudos, you're a perfect fit. Just tell them I referred you. Yeah, that might actually be an interesting job for us to pursue. All right. What else is up, Tammy? Back on the ship, you... Oh, I don't think we used to tease her. That doesn't seem like this character. We probably used to play with her. Tammy had the best doll collection, and apparently we like dolls. After her mom died, her dad used all his nanoprinter creds to print her a different doll every month for a whole year. Right, I remember the overcompensation. Do you want to play dolls? Yeah, I think our character still carries around her doll, right? So sure. You don't think Tammy will ever be too old to play with dolls. If anything, she has even more of them now. She takes you to her quarters and brings out the entire Spacey Stacy doll collection. A disturbingly realistic baby with real bowel movements, gross, and two super fancy posable dolls named Lily and Tilly who can be programmed to move on their own. Tammy isn't very good at the programming, so Lily and Tilly just roll around awkwardly when you turn them on. You cover quickly by saying they must be breakdancing at a club. The two of you spend the afternoon making up stories of their rise to stardom as professional dancers, who can only do dance moves that require them to be laying down. It happens, you know? Okay, so we are at 90 stress. We're gonna stress out no matter what we do here. What does the delivery job give you again? We actually can't even apply because that's right, you need organizing for this. Well then, the humanities it is. This is not the correct, I just fully did not go to the right building. There we go. Can't register for engineering classes until we have 5 reasoning. You do get reasoning from life sciences. Do we need I don't think we need engineer. I'm gonna stick to this for right now. We can earn ourselves some perks probably pretty quickly this way. It's impossible to partner with either Tans or Mars for group work this month. Every time you try to get one of them to be your partner, they're already stuck to each other like glue. You can't imagine they'd be friends, but the evidence is right before your eyes. Interesting. Why can't I imagine they would be friends? Yes, harder challenges on, skip challenges off. I enjoy the more difficult challenges. Get ourselves a pair, and then also just throw this one on there because it's got to go somewhere. Early in the game, it's really easy to hit the maximum score every time. The thing you need to do is very obvious. All right, is this the part? It's somewhere around here when we save Tammy, right? Okay. Yeah, kids don't really have a lot. How do you make friends with Dis early? Having some bravery would help. I'm trying to remember. I don't remember what it was that we did that... Because we were friends with him, and that's when he showed us how to sneak out, right? Oh, egg. This is not a good gift for Dis, but it is something. I might just give it to him even though it's only +1. Well, we can make that decision later in the season, though. For right now, all we can really do is relax in the lounge here. Okay, the school's expanding to some of the empty engineering bays. We're getting a big new lab to do experiments. So everybody's just talking about what they want to do on the planet. And I say... This character, I guess we're still trying to do some exploration stuff. I do want to try to, be a little bit different from our previous playthrough. just to see text and interactions we didn't see before. Are we a studier? Are we more of a book kid? Maybe. And that would be a good way to differentiate ourselves, at least. Yeah, all right, Tange is right. School's important. Tammy nods in agreement. It's scary out there, she mumbles. I'm gonna stay close to our quarters for now. That is not a good way of making friends with Dis, I suppose. All right, hold on. You've had less of the deja vu dreams come to life feeling this week, but suddenly you get a prickling sensation in the back of your neck and remember that Mars is about to enter the lounge and tell everyone to look outside, where we see the flag being hoisted. All right, took the month off. That's really awkward. I don't want to lose a yellow 1. I think I might just hit done here. Like a yellow 0 or any other color of 1, but like we want to be doing this yellow 0, 1, 2 thing as much as possible right now, right? I don't think we forget anything this time. That's really awkward. Nope, wait, go save Tammy for sure. We know this part. It really does just zoom that text out, huh? She sits up and rubs her elbow, staring at you. I think I'm going to say I just saved your life, even if it freaks her out in the moment. Because again, but we decided that we need to keep it from the adults. Well, I need to keep it from the adults. I don't need to keep it from Tammy. I just saved your life. My life? She says. She peers into the dark room, looking even more frightened. How? You try to explain that the holo projector was going to shock her, but she doesn't seem to understand. What? How? But it's Mr. Bearsworth, she says. It's just a toy. She doesn't believe you, but that's okay. You're just happy you followed your dream and got here in time. You decide not to mention the dream, since she seems weirded out already. Maybe that's a thing for, later in our relationship. Professor Hal can fix it. He can fix anything. By the time you find the professor and finish cleaning up, you've forgotten all about the pink candy in the cafeteria. Listen, a yellow 4 is a perfectly good consolation prize. A yellow 4 and, the life of my friend. Let's just run around here, make sure that we're not missing any stuff that has been dropped on the ground. I think I am probably just going to end up giving this egg to Dis. Sullen, Tangent says, approaching with purpose. We need to discuss my brother. Okay, well, unfortunately, it's not that hard to get friendship with Dis up above 10 at this point, especially if you started with him as your best friend. But yeah, okay, who? Dis? Need you to figure out where he's been disappearing. Yeah, not very good terms with my brother, but people are becoming worried. You get the feeling Tange is the one who's worried, but she doesn't want to admit it. Yeah, you know what? I'll talk to him. He probably won't tell you, Tange says angrily. Newton's apple, she swears. He won't even talk to me anymore. Newton's apple is a very whack swear. You may have to follow him. I would, but everyone in the lab would know I was gone. No one cares where he goes during the day. Yeah, no, that's the thing. I will totally do that. You tell Dis that his sister Tangent wants to know where he's been disappearing to. He doesn't tell me. Listen, it's because she's worried about you. She doesn't care about me. I'm not gonna be a jerk about it. Yeah, he doesn't believe that she cares at this point in the story, but we're gonna fix that, hopefully. Although I didn't actually manage to do that last time. Tammy, what's up? Tammy is sitting down in the grass with a baby on her lap. They're playing nicely with some flowers or a strand of the beads in Tammy's hair or something. Tammy keeps gently removing her hair from the baby's mouth. Oh, Selwyn, she giggles as you join her. Aren't babies the best? There are so many new babies in the crash, you'd think we were starting a colony or something, Tammy laughs. But the parents are too busy doing other work, and somebody needs to take care of the little ones. She looks down lovingly to the baby, who is now sucking on part of her skirt, getting it good and damp with baby drool. Is that good? I don't know. You could help too. It would be fun. Actually, that's interesting. The baby chooses this moment to spit up a big puddle of pale yellow liquid onto Tammy's dress. Babies, not good at controlling their digestive systems. Oopsie, Tammy coos and picks the baby up. Then she holds them out toward you. Could you take them for a minute while I find a towel, Selwyn? The baby hiccups and rolls their eyes. They still look a little queasy to you. Okay, so we have like an important decision to make here. Are we actually good with babies? How old am I supposed to be? I'm like 10. Tammy's 11. Yeah, we're age 10. We just turned 10. I mean, that's old enough to do some babysitting, I suppose. I was taking care of kids when I was that old. I am the eldest of like 17 cousins. And so I did, yeah, definitely did my share of taking care of children. I think I'm going to be fine with it, not enthused. Like, I'm capable with a kid. I am not like eager to be babysitting all the time. You hold the child at arm's length, willing them to keep the rest of their stomach contents in. They hiccup again, then let out a tremendous belch as loud as a drunken sailor. You have to admit, that was kind of cute. Okay, so babysitting in the living quarters. What does that give us? Empathy and creativity. And you do get paid. I mean, empathy and creativity, that's definitely pushing a bunch of empathy early definitely puts us in a different position than we were in the last game. I don't know that we saw a lot of opportunities to use empathy last time that I felt like we missed, but that might just be because that stuff doesn't even appear to you if you're not like sensitive to it. But I wanted to stick around Hal until whatever happens to Hal happens, right? I wanted to see if I could do something about it. Yeah, let's maybe study humanities again based on that logic. Okay, so we read about some stuff. The formation of the Vertumna group, the decision to leave Earth. 20 years later, they and their starborn children slid through a wormhole and ended up here. Constance pulls up a hollow projection of an unassuming human with a firm maternal gaze. This is Planktonic Ascendant's Wang Botha Schmidt, the spiritual leader of the Vertumna movement. And we are... like, wait, a sci-fi author? I guess, just because this is the button we didn't press before. Yes, Congruence tells you. Their best-selling novel, Life Beyond the Einstein-Rosen Bridge, told the story of a fictional utopia on the other side of the real-life anomaly at the edge of the solar system. Scientists had been investigating the wormhole for years, but it took a poet to imagine we could travel through it. Okay, book club. Yeah, it describes the formation of the society. Though committed to social justice, the group saw the impossibility of forming a truly egalitarian society while also reckoning with their own implicit biases and the diverse context of their real lives. They realized that was the work of generations, and solutions must look to the future as Wang Botha Schmidt did. Do we fall asleep? I think this is not a place where this character falls asleep. Like, this is stuff about the inner working of systems of people. This is what we're most interested in. 400 people volunteered to sacrifice their own cultural beliefs to walk through these doors, agreeing to come up with a new way of life that would be taught to their children. Babies were conceived from egg and sperm donors chosen by lottery and raised communally, like you, as the second generation of the Vertumna group. Those babies were your parents. So it's a shame. I do feel like I feel like based on who this character is kind of shaping up to be, I keep wanting to click on the same options we already clicked on. I think I'm going, yeah, it's like the thing that's fascinating about it to this character is the way the groups of people interact, right? So they mix their cultures as more colonies were founded. Assimilationism was an unpopular ideology at the time because it had been used to commit terrible genocides on Earth. This, combined with panic that the Vertumna group was destroying the family unit or raising an army of gene-tech super soldiers, brought the colony under attack from all sides. Boy, did we do these options before? These do not. This text does not feel familiar to me. My memory is super spotty, though. I don't know that I feel that cultural assimilation is horrible. Like, we were raised up in this system. I feel like it would be quite a leap for the kid to believe this when it's kind of like everything they've been taught is this system. I'm just going to say everyone fears what they don't understand. The ultimate goal of the Vertumna group was you, children, a generation raised completely unburdened by the troubles that plagued Earth, which is still like kind of a pipe dream. Completely unburdened is probably strong, but you know, they did an okay job. They did their best. So nobody on Earth was like us. The Vertumna group members have a unique culture, Congruence replies, but it's formed from a combination of many heritages from Earth. Even the language you speak, Esperanto, was invented to bring people together. And don't worry, Congruence exclaims, you brought your best heritage with you. You're humans. Wow, that's a lot of information. Okay, yeah, so we get the knowledge of the Vertumna group, including this person who just really, I don't know if it's specifically because the face is blurry or what, but really just feels like the protagonist of Disco Elysium to me. All right, hard to imagine having a different culture than your neighbors. This part I remember. Anyway, all I can do is be the best Sullen I can be. If we play this, it turns into a straight. Yeah, that's something. I guess if you're gonna give people a wild colored card early on, it has to have a negative value on it to prevent it from being so hugely the best card in the deck. Even so, I really do wish it wish it had a better number. All right, so we need to be making friends with this. I'm gonna give him this egg in a second here because it looks like we are not going to pick up another thing this season. All right, Dad has lots of feelings about the pollen, and we know why. I'm gonna tell him I'm scared of the pollen because I have this feeling. For some reason, that's plus loyalty. Don't know that I really understand that. Your mom sighs. Selwyn, life on Vertumna is going to be very hard if you let yourself be afraid of everything. Alright. It's just how plants reproduce, and they do it all up in your eyes and nasal cavities. Great, thanks. They've never heard of consent. Okay. So Mars is picking on Dis to some degree here. Try not to get eaten by aliens. If you die out there, they can't use your body for fertilizer. Don't be a waste. Hey, no, shut up, Mars. Dis is cool. We are going to stand up for Dis. Also, standing up to Mars is how you gain her respect, but mostly what I'm doing is I'm standing up for Dis. Alright, maybe you can get through to him. I've tried, but he doesn't care about contributing to the colony, or being popular, or earning kudos, or anything important. Is this too far? This might be too much. This might be too mean. It feels mean, I'm not going to say it. But I am going to go talk to Dis. And give him this egg I found. Buddy. Does this interest you? It's an egg. Thank you. Dis says, clearly unsure how to react. You're welcome, friend. I found this egg and I just thought about you. Alright, we're actually pretty close to getting our first perk, so let's go push creativity, huh? Alright, impossible to work with either of our partners. I guess this is where that rumor, we heard about a rumor early game that like Dis and Mars were into each other. Or that Tange and Mars were into each other, and I guess this is where that came from. They spend a lot of time together in the early game, which I did not remember being the case. Kabam! Crushing it. Yeah, and just earning an awful lot of stat points. Not very much money, though. There is something to be said for that money, I think. I don't remember exactly when it was. I don't think it was within the first year that we followed this out. Aha! A collectible. Not one of the more valuable ones. So their birthday is during, was it late dust or late wet? I don't know. We'll give them gifts at the end of the year until we remember. Actually, when I click in on them, okay, yes, it does just hold all the information, because of course it would. Why wouldn't it, right? So yeah, let's go do one more month of this, since it seems like nobody else has any interactions for us. You're doing creative writing in teams. You're paired with Mars. You wish it was Tange. She always does so well on these. The theme is Earth's natural environment. Mars takes the topic at face value and wants to write about how beautiful everything was on Earth, with blue skies and green plants everywhere, and huge oceans that went on forever. So we can do that, writing an essay, 2+1 if the card to the left is blue, or we can just pick up a card that's always a 3. Well, I kind of want to justify a little bit of a scientific bent here. Maybe this is a good place to start, right? Because we do want to probably go pick up some biology. So yeah, write about climate problems instead. Mars wants to write about Earth's lush forests and deep jewel-like oceans, but you stop her. It wasn't Earth basically on fire when your parents left? You decide you should spend extra time researching how things really were. You've heard the basics from congruence, but what was it actually like? You ask her for all the information she has on the ecological collapse of Earth. Well, congruence replies, first carbon emissions trapped the heat of the sun, which raised the global average temperature. You ask her to stop so you can look up carbon emissions. Then she continues. So the polar ice melted and the oceans rose and became too warm to sustain life. Mass weather disruptions caused grassland to become desert. Then the bees died, and then so did everything they used to pollinate. Food instability caused wars to break out. By the time your parents left Earth, everything was essentially either underwater, on fire most of the year, or irradiated. Fun. Learning all this stresses you out. All of that just because people wanted to drive in cars and own lots of stuff made in faraway places, and have big families and keep their big houses the same temperature all year, and all by burning dirty mud they dug out of the ground. Could that happen here too? I mean, there's a little bit more to it than that. You're too bummed to present your findings, but Mars steps up. She gets a few facts messed up, but presents it well. She ends on a high note. She doesn't think the mud here on Vertumna is as flammable as the weird mud they had on Earth, so no problem. You don't get an amazing grade. Mars accepts this with grace, but still thinks you would have done better if you'd gone with her idea. I like how much of a bully she isn't, right? Because it would have been very easy, and you see that, like, that kind of archetype, I feel like, in stories a lot, where she could very easily use the sort of like position granted to her by her popularity to be a jerk, and she's totally not. I really like that difference. So it's better to make the straight, but we don't actually win on making the straight. What if... I mean, if we group these, it's going to be even worse because we're no longer getting the double flush effect of the delusions. Yeah, this is just kind of crummy. Well, I'm going to push through because I want to be able to give the Mushwood log to Dis. But yeah, that's a bummer. There's a lot of zeros in our deck. Oh, there was a natural 11 in there. Where was it? Oh, okay. First for Tumna, yay! I do notice that we're tacking a little bit not rebellious. I don't think that's appropriate for this character in the long term. Maybe it's just I have a hard time imagining playing a non-rebellious child, given my actual childhood, in which I was in trouble constantly. But I don't know that this kid is necessarily like... I think this kid actually does think Vertumnalia is kind of exciting. I clap. Everyone cheers and applauds. Oh, you know what? Yawning might have been good for my friendship with Dis. Well, whatever. The members get up on stage, give speeches. Yep, we know all of the people. And it looks like all we're really set for is the talent show. It's an all-singing, all-dancing, all-talent extravaganza. The entire colony gathers to watch the show after dinner. First up, Dis plods to the front of the stage, and as a pop song starts to play, he just stands there, deadpan, staring into space with his arms at his sides, while the singer belts out the first verse. Then, as the chorus comes in, he suddenly springs to life, dancing and lip-syncing to the lyrics frantically, waving his arms and grinning maniacally. And then collapses back to standing still once the chorus is over. This is basically an Andy Kaufman bit. It's hilarious, but you aren't sure you're supposed to be laughing. No, I think it's intentional. Next, Mars performs a choreographed dance routine to an old Earth song by an AI idol. She has light-emitting balls at the end of her hair, which she swings around everywhere in the dim light, while controlling a small floating ball drone who dances with her. It's total overkill, but it is impressive. Your turn. What do you do? So I think hoverboard tricks are a little more physical than this kid. A magic act or a comedy routine? I think a magic act, right? If we're like into the power of persuasion and everything. Yeah, let's go magic. Okay, story challenges have 3 rounds instead of 1. So, I mean, this would be the best time to play the Vertumna group. And then maybe we just play kind of like... Just play some stuff that's kind of unimpressive just to get it out of our hands. We're hoping to form like proper straights. But like also we could just play this to get the pair bonus and try to run as many pairs as we can. Holding on to -1 and then 0 does make it more likely we'll be able to build a straight in the next hand. Yeah, all right. Yeah, because all we needed was any +1 to show up. It's a shame that it's not a yellow +1, but I think we can... Oh, boy. We have 40 stress to work with. All right, let's try. That's a real shame. 4-5 is not quite going to get us a straight. Well, we can get a pair here. If I were to use the mushwood log to increase this by 2, plus generate another 2 points, if I improved our value by 4, would that be good enough? It would. I'm taking it. All right, maybe I slowed down our friendship with Dis very slightly there, but I won the competition. That's what really matters. Everyone's amazed by your magic act. So we have a bunch of yellow 4s and 5s now, which is good. I feel like that's a good start to being better at challenges in general. Especially the one where you pretended to pull scarves out of your mouth. You win as voted by audience applause. That puts us at 95 stress. So friendship with Mars and Dis, because apparently Dis is into the talent show, which is not what I would have expected. I would have expected that he was like the stay out of it choice. All right, right, and then we get de-stressed. Cool. During the fierce heat of dust, a few days rest is exactly what you needed. You feel refreshed. That rules. I'm super happy about that. And also, right, we got access to the second set of clothing, which means this character is going to have a lot more use for kudos really early on. All right, let's hope that another collectible spawns inside the walls before the end of the season. That would be nice. What's up, Tange? She's talking about how great it is that humans are here, learning about adaptability. Books say it's what sets us apart from the animals. If it's too hot, we can make air conditioners instead. And I don't know enough about biology to talk about sweating. And this character is less in love with animals than the last character, so I'm just going to be like, oh, yeah, totally. Tangent nods absently, lost in her own thoughts. Humans are some of the only animals native to Earth that can sweat. I wonder, It seems so much warmer here than on Earth. Have the animals here developed the capability to sweat, or have they adapted to the heat in some other way? All right, living proof that humanity is greater than our biology. You know, at least that we're trying. We're trying hard. Okay, kudos doubled for 3 months. So, if we were thinking about babysitting, this would be a pretty good time to do it, actually. Just, like, getting some babysitting time in. Because, like, I totally can do that. And 7 kudos, doubled. It's going to be hard to beat that right now. We don't have the 5 reasoning necessary for this job. The depot still isn't open yet, so we actually can't take advantage of our perk, even if we did have money. But this will help us get there for when it is open. Yeah, I think this makes sense. And developing some more empathy is good too. And also friendship with Tammy. Why not? Although, shit, I did want to stay close to Hal, because we don't really know what happens to Hal. Okay, well, whatever. I clicked the button already. Hello, Solwyn. Antecedent greets you. Oh, sweetheart, I'm so happy you've come back to help. You know this place well. The creche. Part preschool, part all-day daycare. You practically grew up here, cared for communally while your parents worked their shifts. A few kids even live in the creche full-time. In a way, Antecedent, a.k.a. Anne, a.k.a. Antecedent, is every kid's mom. The smell of craft glue and clean blankets gives you a calming sense memory of all the happy time you spent here with your friends. Tammy's here too, gently rocking a drowsy baby against her chest. She looks at ease here in a way you don't usually see. You're going to babysit too? She asks in an excited stage whisper. You'll love it. Suddenly, a bundle of wild hair in pink overalls runs straight into you, nearly knocking you over. Almost more kitten than kid, the child grabs your legs and stares up at you with unblinking green eyes. Now watch that one, Antecedent warns. You remember Nougat? She's turning out to be quite the handful. Why don't you start off by getting her to go down for her nap? Okay, yeah, get her to go down for her nap. So she ran straight into me. It feels like she has energy. Let's play a game with her, maybe? Sports ball, she shouts and pulls an extra bouncy inflatable ball from a cubbyhole. You show Nougat how to balance it on your head and bounce it gently up and down. Of course, when she tries, she bops it with such force that it flies across the room. She chases after it, clapping excitedly. Nougat makes a beeline for some older kids who are playing with a Creato-bot. She charges in to pick up the bot and hug it, causing it to flail and whirl and knock both her and itself over. By the time you get to the scene of the crime, there are tears, and the other kids are upset about their broken bot. The commotion attracts the attention of Antecedent, who swoops in with hugs and tissues. Within minutes, she has it under control. Whoops, she says, hauling Nougat up onto her hip with ease. Just a little mix-up. Don't worry, everyone. Someone will get that bot fixed in a jiffy. She winks at you with a warm smile. Yeah, I'm good at robots. Who says I'm not? Okay. This is not a bad set of cards. You get to do basically everything there, except for the thing that our doll is specifically good at, I guess. Now, we did not get to even the first empathy perk threshold, right? So I don't think I actually know what the benefit of, or what the perk benefits are. So that'll be a neat thing to figure out if we can. Did we spawn a collectible anywhere? It sure looks like the answer is no. Tammy almost doesn't notice you approach. She's bent over her hollow palm, intently taking notes, until you get close enough that her ears wiggle and she looks up, surprised. Oh, hello, Solomon, she greets you cheerfully. I'm so sorry I didn't see you there. You ask what she's studying, and she flushes pink and tugs on her ear. Oh, I'm not studying, she says. I'm making a list of my friend's favorite things. She laughs, a little embarrassed. And, well, you're my friend, Solon, so what's your favorite color? Sadly, orange is not on the list. Black and pink are acceptable secondaries. I'm gonna say black. She notes your answer, then asks what your favorite dessert is. Are we familiar with ice cream? Do we have ice cream? It doesn't seem like ice cream is here. Is this us being dumb or us trying to be funny but doing a bad job because we're kind of dumb? I mean, you know, trying to be funny. There's something. I'm gonna make the terrible joke. For a 10-year-old, this is not that bad of a joke. I gotta remember to grade on a curve. Desert. I prefer the Sahara myself. Tammy doesn't understand what you mean, so you have to explain the joke. It's even less funny the second time around. Oh no, I actually damaged her confidence. Okay, I feel bad about that. Favorite toy. You know, clearly I like dolls. I think that's well established. Me too, she smiles. Okay, now I know what to get you for your birthday. Well, what are your favorite things? She presses her fingers together shyly. I like the color yellow, and my dolls, and my favorite sweet is cake. Okay, so yellow flowers, give her a cake on her birthday. That seems very doable. Does she... No, we don't actually know that information, though. I swear, I thought she was younger than we are. She has a very young energy, I think. All right, as much as I want to hang out and see what happens to Hal, I do want to take advantage of this kudos bonus. Let's babysit again. At least one more time here. You just can't seem to make Nougat keep her pants on. At least she's potty trained, but it's still a bit of a health hazard. You manage to come to a compromise where she agrees to at least wear a dress or a skirt. She does this for a little while before realizing that it is much harder to climb and crawl around in a dress, and begrudgingly agrees to wear pants again. Well, this isn't very good. It's gonna end up being a pair of threes. Yeah, I mean, we just don't get a straight. And if we're not getting a straight, we may as well pair the yellow cards. Something. There was an 18? Oh, you know what? I wonder... I've never tried it before. I wonder if I could have left one of the cards unplayed so that the Vertumna Collective would have been a 4 and taken a straight on the 3, 4, 5. Interesting. All right, here we are, new month. It is the month of the twins' birth, and it would be really cool to have a present. Aha. You know what the part of the problem is? I could actually have walked right past a collectible last month because I was looking for the big glowing circle because I do not remember that that's not a thing that existed by default. That was a perk. Okay, this is skulking. I would like to follow him, but I don't have the perception necessary. I didn't think about that. Maybe we won't be able to start sneaking out early. Shoot. All right, well, I'm just going to ignore him. Don't harass the poor kid. All right, we'll wait till his birthday to give him this mushwood log we found. And for the moment, I guess just popular for one more month here. Let's go babysit. You know how children love popular people. Most kids in the crash go home at the end of the workday to be with their parents, but some live there full time. Anne's triplets, for example, as well as orphans from the wormhole crash, and children whose parents have simply opted to have them raised communally instead. You've heard that orphanages on Earth could be troubled. That is, due to a web of perverse incentives that don't exist here. So here in the crash, everyone is cared for equally. They're lucky in a sense. In the crash, they have a huge family and so many siblings to play with. You and Tammy are putting 2 of the crash kids to bed. Tammy's cuddled up with one of them, reading a book out loud. Tonight's story, Tammy begins, is about a little vacuubot named Litter. One night while Litter was charging, there was a power surge in her charging station. Zap! Tammy tickles the children for emphasis. And the next morning when Litter woke up, well, instead of cleaning, she decided to go on a grand adventure. Tammy makes up the story as she goes. She has the vacuubot venture all the way out of her geoponics dome to the other side of the colony to meet her cousin bots in engineering. but everything goes wrong and the little vacuubot gets scared and lost. After Captain Udicott saves her and brings her back to geoponics, the little vacuubot vows to never go exploring again and lives happily ever after. The two kids are sound asleep. I don't think I'm going to give her shit about the moral of her story. Gosh, you are so great with kids. Thanks, Selwyn. Tammy blushes. I can't wait to have kids of my own. I want at least 5. Jeez, okay. At least 5. When she grows up and realizes the physical toll, I wonder if she'll change her mind. Maybe more even. Auntie Seaton says I could have as many as I want, and she and the other crash parents will help raise them all together. I think I'd like that. Yeah, maybe. I guess, we have advanced medical technology. It's probably not as dangerous, but like, criminy. Okay, so if we play everything out here, we have a 1, 2, 3, except that our 2 will make the 3 a 4, which is awkward. Yeah, it really sucks that that's like the middle. Okay. Well, what we can do is not much, right? Because this is going to end up being a 3. Is there a way to make this work? I mean, obviously we can just like sort these. Does it make more sense? There's not actually a way to build a 1, 2, 3 out of this. Yeah, I'm just going to take this 18. I think this 18. Yeah, the 18 was the max. That's what I thought. Also, we did pretty well. We did pretty well on money there. When the when the thing actually does open up, we'll be well suited to buy something. Well positioned, rather. We have a terrifying familiar dream of a monster crashing through the walls. We're picking through the wreckage of our home looking for something. Tears streaking down your dust-covered face as you lift heavy pieces of debris, searching. Is that something that happened? I don't remember that. It's still the early hours of the morning. You've already forgotten your bad dream, but you're too unsettled to go back to sleep yet. The rain beats down on the roof of your quarters, joined now and then with great peals of thunder, like the footsteps of an angry beast. I think this is maybe a go to your parents for comfort kind of thing. Like this version of the character is way more openly into the affection of her parents. Yeah. Even more loyalty. I don't know about all this. Your dad is awake too, watching the rain from the gentle porthole in the kitchenette, from the large porthole in the kitchenette. The word gentle is just like not even over there. He gives you a hug and you gaze out together. This is good, he says quietly. It means we'll have plenty of water for the crops. Pure, healthy water, just like on Earth. Everything's going to be okay, my little potato. I wonder how many different plants he calls you in like the entire game's unified script. You hug your dad tight and hope he's right. Well, he did de-stress us a little bit, but it looks like it wasn't actually like over a threshold. Like it's not going to buy us a month. I just realized that we are way past the hour, but we're going to keep going because I want to make sure to give Dis the Mushwood log as soon as it becomes available, on the birthday month. So let's push one more month to do that. And now that we're done with... Gosh, we're not really that far off from the empathy thing, though. Maybe we keep doing empathy. We're good at persuasion, too. And I do kind of want to hang out around Hal until we know what happened to Hal. Yeah, all right. Let's go back to studying the humanities. We can get a persuasion perk instead. That's fine. We'll get the empathy thing. This month, you're supposed to learn about different styles of dance. Mars takes to this fairly easily, but Tange abjectly refuses to, saying she'd rather be penalized for non-cooperation than make a fool of herself. She sits the whole month out, doing independent study on the philosophy of medicine. No matter how much Mars cajoles, bribes, or begs Tange to dance with her, she doesn't budge. Yeah, that sounds right. Are we better off with the straight or with the pair? It's probably the pair, right? No, the straight gives us... Well, I guess, yeah, the lowest level of the straight is worth 3 points, whereas the pair, even with the bonus, is only 2. Yeah, okay. All of this creativity. And all of this stress. Jeez. All right, let's go. First of all, look around just in case a medicinal plant has fallen within the walls. Oh, Dad has something to say. Looking a little worn out. Oh yeah, well, maybe I just need a hug. Tiger butter. Is that a plant? After a long hug, you do feel a little better. Your dad gives incredible hugs. Yeah, I'm getting real quote-unquote loyal over here, though, and I can't say I love that. Hey, Dis, guess what? I got you a birthday present. It's a wet log I found. He pretends not to like attention on his birthday, but, you know, that pushed him past 10. That's something. That's a threshold. We're gonna get there with him. And then I guess we can just go ahead and... Well, you know what? If I talk like that, I'm going to talk myself into playing for 2 hours. This is probably a good place to leave it. I should remember, I got to save something for next time. So that's going to be it for us for today. Thank you all so much for watching. I feel like we're beginning to establish the character of this new version, this Solwyn. When you come back next time, we're going to continue zooming through this early period here, hopefully find out exactly what it was that happened to Professor Hal, and or maybe prevent it, ? And then start hurtling toward all of the really grim and terrible shit that we know is coming in the very near future. So come back next time for that, and we'll see you then.